Hi there. Just wanted to do a quick update in regards to my autism assessment. So I've messaged my doctor a few weeks ago, kind of writing a really detailed message of symptoms and behavior stuff that kind of matched up with autism. And I heard back from the doctor today to say that, he's happy to refer me for an assessment, which is great. Like to be heard, and it's really nice because he wrote that I wrote like a really detailed and useful message, and hope he wasn't being sarcastic, because it was a really long message I wrote and I wasn't in a great state of mind writing. I was just kind of just pouring out stuff, so I was trying to be as clear as possible. So that's the good news. The unfortunate thing about that is he said it could be up to 2 years to wait to be assessed. And strangely, part of me was not surprised. Just anything mental health in general, it's like waiting lists, and it's just a case of there's just lack of resources at the moment, or resources are being overrun, especially with I think when initially COVID started, there was like a huge wave of impact for mental health services. So there's kind of understanding there with that certain I guess a lot of services are just overrun. They're always under-resourced, and so there's no kind of blame for that really, and especially because I didn't really know anything about it, especially with autism and how the structure of assessment and why there's such a long waiting list at the moment. Another thing, I messaged the doctor. He was really helpful in his message. He mentioned about, is there anything else with your mental health that I can help? And there was. So I was kind of wanting to communicate to him about complex PTSD, something I just kind of stumbled across really. I looked at PTSD because I knew that there's trauma that I've been through, but when I read PTSD, it was like, no, I don't think it's quite that. But then within that, there was complex PTSD, and as soon as I read that, I really resonated. So I kind of asked the doctor about being assessed for that, what process there is. And I also asked, is there anything I'm missing that I should be doing right now? Any other assessments, or it feels like I have to kind of figure it out, figure kind of diagnoses out, or potential, it could be this, or I could be dealing with that, and then kind of communicate. Almost feels I've got to fight for it as well. I've got to write a message of explanation of why it may be this, and can I get some help with it? And I guess part of me would just love just to be assessed generally in mental health and let them figure out the labels and things. I'm not sure if there's anything out there just to be assessed, my mental health. I'm not sure if that would just be with a psychiatrist, or I'm not really too sure on a function. Maybe that's something I can read up on to see if that could help. The one thing I've got in my head about psychiatrists is just they obviously kind of hand out medication, which it's probably best for me to read up on that, because I know that's one of the things they do, but I probably just have a very, very basic understanding of that. yeah, maybe that's the process where they can kind of diagnose you and figure out what's going on with you. I was trying to get that across to a doctor to say, look, I'm not thinking clearly right now. I'm struggling. Is there anything else, any other assessments and other things? So we'll see what he says to that. And earlier this evening, I received a text message from my surgery saying that I think with the UK, there's been this increase in COVID stuff, and they're going to be understaffed, or they're going to be putting kind of COVID vaccinations as a priority. So I think they're asking people with less non-emergency cases or minor cases to not contact them. So I'm hoping that doesn't interfere with my current dialogue with this doctor, because it took like 20 days or so to get a reply but I can also understand if they're like dealing with COVID vaccinations and booster jabs and all that stuff. That definitely takes priority. Yeah, I'm just hoping you can just give a quick answer to what I asked him, and so it doesn't get lost until like a month later. I have to kind of rewrite another message and start it again. But yeah, maybe I can look up the being assessed by a psychiatrist, what that is, and how to, I guess you can ask your GP to get referred for that. But yeah, it feels like I have to kind of try and educate myself, and I don't have the energy to do that. It sounds counterproductive, but I think that's part one of the struggles of mental health, is just energy to help yourself. It's really difficult, and so I'm gonna kind of put that autism assessment out of my mind now, like that ball's rolling. And yeah, I've kind of communicated about complex PTSD, and yeah, so it feels like I'm doing what I can on my side just to get help. So the intentions I set yesterday was to kind of go out to the supermarket to get some groceries and pick up a parcel of clothing that I got that I ordered online, and I did both of those things. It was a difficult walk because it's on kind of like a main road of loads of traffic, and my kind of sensitivity to smelling petrol fumes is increasing, so it can almost like taste the petrol as I'm walking, and there's a kind of anxiety with that, because it's like I know the health concerns, so I'm like super kind of aware of when there's like breathing in sort of in car fumes. So that was a bit challenging to do, and I forgot my face mask as well, and I still need to get the habit. And they used to, I think when COVID first started, they used to have face masks by the door, but they don't seem to have that now. And I was too anxious to ask behind the counter. I think as soon as I went in the automatic doors, there were some face masks there, for sale. So I kind of picked up one of those. It just felt like so overpriced for a few face masks, and it was disposable ones as well. I have reusable ones at home, but I just kind of let that go. I just thought, okay, there's no point getting frustrated or angry at myself that I can't go in and just ask for a face mask and having to spend money on them. So I was able to let that go quickly and understand that's just what I was able to do. Just felt too anxious to go in there and someone kind of accuse me, or there'd be a kind of confrontation that you're not wearing your mask, what's going on, or that kind of stuff. But I did record an episode for the podcast as well. I was planning to do it before I left to go to the supermarket, but I did it earlier this evening, so that was good. I managed to do that. I'm hoping to get a tripod delivered in the next day or two, so it'll save me holding this up. I can kind of freely talk a bit more. I've got to kind of figure out my setup of where to put it, but kind of envision myself sitting on the floor and having the tripod resting on like a footstool or something, where it's kind of level with me. Or I could try sitting in this chair and having like a table. There's a small table I've got. I can maybe prop it on that and see how that works. Maybe I didn't have to have it so close as well. I can have it a bit further away maybe. I think just overall I'm just really aware of, I guess I'm aware that I'm unwell. It's just funny to say out loud, like as a generality. But it's hard to kind of keep track if I'm getting worse, or it's really difficult. It feels like it's so immersive. And I guess it can be gradual as well. Like, and you have obviously, I have days that I'm slightly clearer and more mentally energized, and there's other days where I'm really not. So it's hard to know if those days that I'm not, if it's gotten worse than previous worse days, or if it is hard to keep track on that stuff. I do have like a notes file on my phone of like symptoms and examples of stuff, so when something happens I can try and write it down, and it helps my understanding, and it also hopefully will help when I have that universal credit appointment as well, where I can like write this, maybe I'll write it all out or type it out and print it potentially. Like maybe it's good to over prepare and have just loads of stuff with me, like lists of symptoms and other things that I can mention to them about being assessed for autism, and I'll see what the doctor says for complex PTSD, and so intentions for tomorrow. Hoping to do some cooking tomorrow. That'd be my main kind of activity, or like build my day around that. So maybe I'll do it in the morning. It may give me the best chance. I find in the evening, I used to enjoy cooking in the evening. It should be quite nice to cook something and then like eat it fresh. But it seems my energy seems to be just quite low at the end of the day, and when my motivation or desire is low and I'm not feeling great, it seems just to be an easy excuse to not cook, especially now in this season when it's dark, and so maybe the morning would work better for me. Been watching a lot of TV the last couple of days. TV meaning stuff on a laptop. Don't actually have a TV. And that's becoming more common now, actually, people just watching stuff on like their laptops, especially especially if you're kind of living alone or in a small sort of spot or place. And that's quite more and more of a common thing now. So back to tension. So doing some cooking in the morning. So maybe we can do some reading tomorrow. I've got this John Grisham book called The Whistler. been struggling to get back into reading since I've stopped writing. So it's been a little bit difficult. But yeah, maybe I can give myself a bit of a break from watching TV series. So I'm actually watching In Treatment, season 4, the new season. So that's good. Not enjoying it as much as the previous therapist. I think I just seems almost too hip for me, like the patients. Seemed like really, too smart as well. They seem like really like know their stuff. So a lot of I don't seem to connect with them as much. But yeah, it's nice to watch that show. I think I mentioned it earlier about it's kind of nice watching. Obviously you're not getting the counselling from them, but there's something calming, or there's some benefit I get from that. I also watched the series, like a little British mini-series from like 10 years ago called The Unforgiven, and I got that from the movies, a new Netflix movie called Sandra Bullock. It's not called Unforgiven, is it The Unforgivable, I think, something like that. They've kind of changed it a little bit. Yeah, really enjoyed watching that, and then I realised the movie was made based on the series, the British series, so yeah, I watched that today as well. Yeah, and I think I'll just try and get some exercise tomorrow, and I'll probably be uploading this and the podcast tomorrow, so I can go to the park, and that gives me an excuse to go outside to upload this. Yeah, I think that's about it. I'm going to sign off, and I'll see you in another video.